7:37, this is Breakfast with Stephen and Ellie. Morning to you. Ellie's off for a barbecue this afternoon.
Yeah, it's got you all talking.
And she didn't know what to take, but thankfully you've come to the rescue.
You really have. I've got a whole wad of suggestions here. I'm going to read out some of my favourite. Susan, I think this might be a very good idea for me this afternoon. Ellie, do a pudding, eat and mess. Waxed paper dishes, meringue, double cream, raspberries, whack it all together. Very easy.
Yeah, that is easy.
I want an easy dish to take after my nap this afternoon. So.
Carol says I'm right. Thanks, Carol. Knock up a leafy salad with falafel and jarred artichoke, she says. Yum, and it's different. Sounds posh, but actually it's dead easy, though.
I do like falafel, though. Emily likes Angel Delight like you do.
Oh, really? Where's
Yeah, she says we went to a friend's dinner party in December. We had pudding, chocolate, Angel Delight. So it's meandering oranges and sliced up chocolate rolls with chocolate Angel Delight. It was beautiful. One of the best puddings I've ever had. I've replicated it so many times. It's simple but tasty. Could you also say hello to my husband Chris, who is looking after me after an operation? He has been a star. Well, Chris, thank you for looking after Emily for us. And Emily, thank you for your suggestion. That sounds great. I love orange and I love chocolate.
Yeah, I think, Chris, you should knock up one of these special puddings for Emily.
Great idea.
Have that in bed, recovering from the op. A good excuse to have a load of pudding. That's what I say. Keep your thoughts coming through. GBNEWS at gbnews.uk. Let's have a look at the front pages for you. Start with the Sunday Times. It leads with a young mother jailed in England for 2 years for having an abortion. Details on that. Also looks at Rishi Sunak's multi-billion-pound package promise to ease the cost of living crisis.
The Observer leads with former PM Gordon Brown warning the Tory government and Boris Johnson that they need to sign off on an emergency budget to combat the cost of living.
The Mail on Sunday says 4 in 10 boat migrants are from war-free Albania. That's according to leaked military intelligence reports.
The Sunday Express leads with the GB News exclusive interview with Rishi Sunak and his promise to jail child groomers for life.
The Sunday Mirror homes in on the NSPCC's alert over TikTok and people apparently targeting schoolgirls being paid for wearing their uniform.
It's not nice, isn't it? Right, well, time to go through the rest of the papers now. Joining us now is Marianne Ahotta and Tom Slater. Good morning to you both.
Hello.
Tom, we were talking about Boris and Carrie Johnson renting out one of their multi-million pound properties, but churches are now renting rooms as well. Tell us about that.
Yes, we've heard of camping, we've heard of glamping. They're calling this champing. It's a bit of a stretch.
Right,
but it's not exactly. Champing at the bit doesn't quite work. But there's a number of churches which have put themselves excuse me, on a website to allow people to basically rent them out for the night. So for as little as £49, you could stay in a number of historic churches and become a key holder for the night. And it's something which is interesting insofar as it's being pushed as a kind of means through which obviously they can make up some money for their particular parish and their particular flock, but also for people to have a kind of unique experience. It should be said that you don't get many amenities. One of the better equipped ones boasts electricity, hot water and a fridge. None of them have any showers, so they suggest that you keep a wide berth from other people where you might be staying if you're staying for more than a couple of nights. But no, an interesting little idea in order for people to be able to enjoy a slightly more budget holiday, but also have an interesting experience off the back of it.
I suppose, a bit weird.
It doesn't look very fun. Can you hold up that photo for people who are
it's
watching?
It's like camping in, people pay to
just hold it up a little bit there. It doesn't look very...
Well, people pay to spend the night in a museum and stuff. You
Do they?
Yeah. You can kind of have a sleepover at the museum, and you sleep in the Great Hall of the Natural History Museum, looking at the dinosaurs or whatnot. And I think it's kind of cool sleeping in a church.
I don't know. I feel like it's haunted, or that
Doesn't look very luxurious going by this bloke's Z bed and portable kettle.
And it'll be cold.
It's going to be
It
cold.
might be a bit chilly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's going to catch on.
If I was the vicar, I wanted to check the font in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness! I was thinking because people don't have a wash in it.
No.
And that's not what you meant.
Bathe in holy
I
water.
think. Are these churches that are consecrated, or are they churches that are deconsecrated?
From what I can tell, they're actually still working.
Kind of like active.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, well, if you stay there on a Saturday night, you're going to get an early wake-up call. I was sleeping in for you. The Sun on Sunday, Marianne, searching for Prince Harry.
Yeah, so The Crown, the TV series, are apparently searching for an actor to play Prince Harry at the age of 13. So they need a young actor who has a strong physical resemblance to the young prince, but also has really good acting chops, because let's be honest, there was a lot going on in that kid's life.
Oh.
Does a strong physical resemblance to Prince Harry just mean they have to have red hair?
I think, you know, and the shape of the face and, you know, the rest of their body.
He was quite a generic 13-year-old boy, wasn't he? You know.
Oh, he was
I don't
cute.
think all 13-year-old... What's he talking about?
As 13-year-olds go. Not
No, yeah, but-
13-year-old guy.
They're not all the same. It depends on what they look like, Stephen.
Yeah.
You should never be on board of security, can I just say? Like, oh, they all look the same. That's true. Whatever. They're all kid-age people. Anyway, so if you are sitting at home eating cornflakes next to a kid who loves acting and looks a bit like Prince Harry...
And it's ginger.
Well, I guess you can dye your hair. Don't get fixated on the ginger, you weirdo. Then, no previous professional acting experience required. This could be
a big
This could be a
break,
chance.
couldn't
They've been looking since last year, since last May, and they still haven't found someone who hits the mark. So,
Right.
big break. Maybe there's a few out there.
Maybe.
It is amazing seeing it on social media as well. I've seen quite a lot on TikTok. I think it might have been for Diana. No, it's for a young Kate. It was a previous call for a young Kate, and it was all these young ladies putting up videos of their face next to a young Kate Middleton, and the resemblance is uncanny. It's amazing. The amount of doppelgangers out the incredible. So hopefully,
Maybe
see some
Stephen's
of
right.
those.
Everyone does look all the same.
They do. They do.
Do you know
What
what?
they do at that age.
There's a cameraman here. Have you met Ben?
No.
Ben is Prince Harry. He looks exactly like Prince Harry, and apparently when he goes out, he always gets asked. Are you Prince Harry?
Does he
He's
ever
not,
pretend
obviously,
that
works
he
here.
is? Does he ever pretend?
I think he's used it in clubs before, I think, for sure. But he's
What for?
20. It's too early. Too early for that kind of chat.
He's 20.
He's 20-something. He's very young, so he could maybe do the next season.
There you go.
Yeah,
But
Okay,
I'd
could be
put him
it.
forward. He looks uncanny.
Sunday Times, Tom. Edinburgh Festivals and a trigger warning. I love these trigger warnings.
I know it's an endless array of ridiculous stories come out of this. So,
You may find this amusing.
exactly.
Sort of trigger warning.
There's some of the examples in here are brilliant. So, of course, the Edinburgh Fringe is back for its first proper year since the pandemic. So there was a lot on Zoom, I think, in the first year, and then very limited audiences last year, and now everyone's back. But as the story puts here, it's now being plagued by an outbreak of these particular trigger warnings. Some of the examples in here are really quite funny. So there's a satirical sort of late-night play about Boris Johnson, which there's a warning that it might involve swearing, nudity, and scenes of a sexual nature. I think that would be priced in. There's a one-man show, it was a monologue, I should say, about Kurt Cobain, in which they say it contains, warning that it contains drug references, which again you would think was more or less there. And I think my favourite is there's a puppet show called Famous Puppet Death Scenes, which had a warning for violence. Even though it's, pint-sized violence in this particular case.
Well, I
So
mean,
it's just
they're doing what they say on the tin, sort of thing.
I dare say you don't need those warnings necessarily. You could probably pick it up yourself. But it is this kind of quite infantilising idea that you have, which is that everyone is potentially going to be re-traumatised by something, whether it's a Kurt Cobain monologue or a puppet show. You need to wrap everyone in cotton wool as a result of that. Very, very odd.
I don't think they count as trigger warnings, and also providing someone with information is a useful thing.
Unusual.
That's not saying, careful, you might not be ready for this. Just saying, this is what's in it. Make up your mind. That's empowering. You should all be about free speech and decision making and independence and liberalism.
You're not going to go and see a monologue about Kurt Cobain unless you think, oh, it's about Kurt Cobain. And you're not going to know about Kurt Cobain without knowing about drug use.
I think lots of people who are younger than us might not know who Kurt Cobain is.
Then why would
And
you go?
Well, because they're in Edinburgh, they're at the Fringe. I think you go and just see a load of bunch of random stuff that you don't know what it is and go, let's go in here and see what this
And you
is
can do
about.
that without needing all these warnings, I think. And I understand that some people say, I mean, even in the story, there's people who suggest, for certain things, you can understand why they would put it up there. If there's things that could be particularly traumatic and re-traumatise people. But even when people have done research on this, they've found that these trigger warnings aren't necessarily very useful for those kinds of people.
It has to be specific
That-
information, yeah.
Because that approach to suggesting that almost you have to, even people who've gone through very serious trauma, even wrapping them in cotton wool is not a good idea, insofar as that's not actually how you treat people necessarily. So I think the whole idea is a bit ridiculous, and it's obviously going it just seems to be spreading and spreading. Particularly in the arts, you see it on streaming services for like Disney films, warnings being put up that it reflects values that we no longer hold. All these kinds of things are just pretty rampant at the moment. I get that it's well-meaning, but it's also quite ridiculous, I think.
Yeah, I just find it.
I think it's unhelpful to have something like contains violence, because you're like, well, what? Unless it's for children, and you go, I don't want my child to see anything violent, or my child will be upset by something violent. So my kid's 4, and he hates things that are either terribly unfair or where the baddie does something bad to the goodie. Even though you go, it's okay, I think it's going to be all right in a minute. He's like, I don't like this, I don't want this, I don't want this. So I would make choices based on, the kind of
But what next?
movies that are out now.
Harry Potter movie saying, warning, this contains magic.
Sinister occultism in this one.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I think that's the age warnings, that's exactly it. But if someone's an adult, you should trust them to engage with this stuff. I think that's the big difference.
Sure.
Yeah. Can we talk about singing when you're cleaning the toilet? Or this one
A specific person who sings.
A specific person.
And happens to clean toilets. So this guy is called Stephen Nicholas. He has been singing in pubs for like 35 years, and all of a sudden finds himself the star of the show. He's got a song called Life is for Living, and he records under the act name Hassel. It's been downloaded 30,000 times already, and he's set to make around 18 grand because of the download and streaming services. And he's very excited because he might be a kind of a chart topper.
What sort of music does he do?
And he happens to be a cleaner. Reggae.
Oh.
So it's been downloaded more than 30,000 times. On Thursday, it was on a roll. It was at number 11.
A roll? Toilet roll? Oh, come on, that was
I was trying to think of it like a retort. I was thinking of it, I couldn't, I'm too slow, it's too early. Yes, there you go. So he says he's not going to give up the day job, though.
No.
Cost of living crisis, and also he thinks this is kind of a bit bizarre and funny, so he's going to take it on the chin.
Maybe he'll get people queuing up to hear him sing. He can charge per performance.
Yeah,
like little unplugged, really boutique,
intimate venue.
Intimate audiences.
Very intimate venue. To be fair. Oh, good for him though.
Yeah, he seems like a very nice bloke.
I want to hear it. Where is it? On YouTube?
On all your regular streaming
services.
Yeah. 99 pence, and he'll make, I don't know, like 0.01p out of that, probably.
Well, he's doing that. If it's 30,000 downloads and he's made 18 grand, that's not bad, actually. That's not a bad return.
Yeah. Well, it says he gets up to 69 pence per download, but I'm not... That sounds like a lot of money.
But if people
I don't
are
think he
paying
gets
for
that much.
it must be people are paying for the download rather than the free streaming service where he gets...
Yeah, sure. But even that, I don't know, up to 69 pence is probably the key. So he might not be getting 18 grand. Maybe that's why he's not giving up his job.
Yeah. Good for him, I say.
Yeah,
good for him. Well done, Stephen. Everybody go and have a listen to Life is for Living.
Should you happen to be watching, get in touch. You never know.
Perform for us, please.
Yeah, we would do. So we'd
like that.
Take a bit of that live. Mary-Anne, Tom, thank you. We're going to leave it there for now because we're going to talk about marriage now. We've been married just the once, haven't we?
Just the once, yeah.
Once.
So far, so good.
The current Mr.
So far, so good.
Well, he's not Mr. O'Houghton.
No, he's not,
yeah.
is he?
I'm Mrs. Craig, but yeah.
Craig, yes.
Yeah.
You're the current Mrs. Screen. You're not the other character.
Mrs. Craig.
There you go. Well,